Good morning and welcome to the Accountability Room, where bookkeeping meets breakthroughs. This is your space to have real conversations about business, life, everything in between. You are joining a group of women firm owners who are building, growing, and figuring it out in real time. We're not just talking numbers, we're going to be talking mindset, habits, and what it takes to keep showing up when things get hard. So let's start with a quick check in. How was your week? Give me the 2-minute download. What wins, challenges, messy middles? We want to hear about it.
Well, in our world, right, in accounting, we had this week was tax season, end of the, not quite end of the season. We still have extensions, but in general, most of it was all completed. So, um, it's, I think, a crazy whether you're a tax firm that's actually doing them or if you're just closing up books. Like, it's just this first quarter is always like super crazy. So, I know my body as soon as a deadline comes and passes, I'm like, okay, we
Yeah.
survived life.
Relief.
Whether or not we actually completed all the things we wanted to, that doesn't really matter. It's just like the deadline's finally passed. We're gone. Okay, we're good.
Chaos
Oh
is over
yeah.
for a few minutes.
Yes. For me, I don't do taxes, a lot of taxes anyway, maybe a handful of personal taxes. So that was easy, but I did get a few stragglers in after the fact. So there's a couple of waiting for me to do. And I don't do business taxes, but thinking about learning it maybe
Yeah,
or just outsourcing it to someone. So my week wasn't that hectic, work wise as far as taxes go and it being tax season.
for sure. Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Was the I don't file taxes, but had panic phone calls and clients with tears about their taxes and wanting to know did we get everything in the book, even though things are closed, they're done, we're past. It kind of opened my eyes to a couple of things that I can do to improve like next year for my clients, like being able, I've always wanted to do like a year-end evaluation and after this year and my clients that would be I think that would be beneficial. So yeah, crazy, crazy week, even though I don't file taxes, of people calling and asking questions, like,
Yeah, they'll always
well,
have
I just
questions
looked
for
at
it.
my books because I'm sitting with my tax accountant and
Yeah.
can you tell me what this is? And why did I
Mm,
make so much revenue, but there's no cash in my account? And I'm really
yes,
trying to like educate and help them understand that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been
That
crazy.
is the never-ending question of how did I make so much money and why am I still so broke? Jen works with people on that a lot and actually did a recent training on that on her live trainings because it is so real. And then you really
hmm,
feel it at tax time when you feel so broke and now you owe money. It's not a fun feeling. So, but actually, that's a perfect segue into this week's conversation. So, this week's conversation is all about discipline versus motivation. So, what's your spark? And then, what really keeps you going when motivation isn't there? Because motivation is great, but it's fickle. It's a very fickle friend. So, on the days that you really just don't feel like showing up, what is it that you do that carries you through? So, if life is full or you're just the mood has passed, where do you plug in discipline? What are your habits? How do you stay attached to the bigger why? So, I'll kick this one off because one of my first thoughts for this was a public figure that Jen and I really like is Geraldine Carter. And she's just very no nonsense, empathetic, but accountability focused. And one of the things that she does is establish systems for
oh
this.
yeah,
So when you are not feeling motivated, she doesn't care. You have a system. You don't need to have motivation, you just need to show up. And so Jen and I worked through one of her little no nonsense system buildings to navigate that. And she had sort of a 4-step daily task process that I really loved. I haven't followed it strictly. Full disclosure, I am human. But she suggests like starting with your calendar. So don't even open your email, look at your calendar. Do you have meetings? Where do you physically need to be in the day? Then next, open your task list. So for Jen and I, that means opening up Financial Sense and navigating through the tasks that are due based on the structure that we set up. Because we've already triaged things, we've already established priority, and we've already made commitments to people. So calendar, where do I physically need to be? Next, opening Financial Sense and starting through the task list or Double or whatever tool you use. From there, answering client questions. So many of our questions come through our client portal, but really trying to stay work focused in our practice management tool. And then once all of that's done, open email, because that's your sort of giant like time suck. And it's exciting. You see emails that come through that are fun and pull your attention, but all
Oh,
of
yeah,
that
for
is an
sure.
energy drain, right? And
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
that has been a really nice discipline builder for me. I've had to put a digital sticky note on my desktop that says calendar first as a reminder, because I am a people pleaser and I like to respond right away. So in my mind, I used to
Yeah.
open email first. Like, how do I respond immediately? No, like that zaps your motivation so fast. So I would say that's
Yeah,
been
well, it gets the other person's agenda instead of your
yeah,
own,
yeah,
and taking care of everybody else, we tend to lose our motivation because, yes, it's a
Mhm.
zapper. All of a sudden, we had these grand ideas, and okay, let's start the day, and
yeah.
then call after call, email after
Mhm.
email, we're doing everybody else's agenda and working on their to-do list and forgetting about our own. So,
You know what's also interesting as you're saying that, it reminds me about the importance of the pause, because so often things get resolved. So you do not have to be the frontline firefighter and all of the things, which is what you
right.
experience when you're in an email. But if you navigate through your client task list, sometimes you're going to resolve those before you even get to the email, or
Yeah, for
they're
sure.
going to realize,
Yeah.
actually, that didn't matter. I figured it out. Like, you don't actually have to answer everything immediately. And that is my life's work.
And I've been reading in a few places the first thing in the morning. You should not look at your phone or your email, actually, at least for 60 minutes.
Yes.
That time belongs to you. Like that first hour belongs to you. You get your mind right, you get
Yes.
yourself right, then you dive in. I'm still working on that portion of it because I'm used to just turning over before my foot hits the ground. I'm on my phone. I'm looking
That
at
Well,
whole
it's your
emails.
alarm, right? If
right.
it's
Oh,
your
Yes,
yeah. True.
alarm, then you
exactly.
have to touch it to turn it off.
Exactly. And I just go down a rabbit hole, and that takes an hour, hour and a half sometimes. And don't let anyone send me something funny off social media.
You know what, though? There's a really good sort of gentle reminder for that. I learned it when I was in Arizona, and it was just a super simple phrase, and it's sky before screen, water before caffeine. So if you can keep yourself like, because I love a good checklist. I love making sure I'm like, no, I can't do that yet. I haven't seen the sky. So sky before
Yeah,
screen, water before caffeine, and it just code does exactly what you're saying about like, don't get lost in your screen yet. Don't just grab a giant cup of coffee and like zap away all of the energy that you have in one frantic frazzle.
Mm-hmm.
Take a second, center, ground, do what you need to do.
Mm. And if you need to get up earlier to have that 30
yes,
minutes, 45, an hour to yourself, that's what you need to do. And I try to get up earlier now,
Yes.
and, have a routine, especially on every morning, before I get up. And I don't want to sound too churchy or anything, but I pray in the morning before I
yeah,
do anything else, as if I wake up on time. And then I work out. I like to
Yes,
work
move your
out.
body.
And
Yes.
then
yeah,
after I work out, because I have to be at the gym at 6 in the morning, most mornings. And then once I work out, I come back home, get myself ready, and then I start my day.
for sure.
That is the
Mind,
most
body, soul.
very that, like the most beautiful and holistic review of discipline. If you just got on your phone and frazzled out, you would lose all forward momentum. So taking care of your body, mind, spirit first. Yes.
Although the other day, I think it was Wednesday, they called me at about 5:15 and said the lights were out. So don't come.
No,
And then I was like, oh, I'm glad they got me before I left out the door. And my
yes,
trainer was like, So you can roll back over. I was like, I'm already on it.
Little gifts for rest.
Exactly. For me, that morning ritual that I do, and especially working out, it takes the stress away from me to be able to handle the rest of the day and what comes at me, because there's a lot that comes at you.
It
For
is.
sure. I think that's one thing, like the difference between motivation and discipline is motivation is bursts of energy. It's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's inconsistent. And discipline is really about getting routines in line so that when you feel like it or don't feel like it, that you can actually still continue on and with your routine and get the things done that your motivation originally started you with it. You have these goals and things that you want to complete, but it's really that creating those systems in order to fully execute, because motivation will be there some days and it will bleed off. Like I think about New Year's resolutions, or I think about for me at the beginning of the month, I'm so excited, like clean, fresh, we can start again. By the middle of the month, end of the month, all of a sudden all of these client questions and tasks get in the way, and I'm like, wait, hold on, I'm getting derailed from what I originally had started. But because we set up systems and processes, feels we can lean back on it. I actually, James Clear with Atomic Habits, he had a fantastic quote. It's, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So exactly talking about that motivation versus discipline. We are human beings. Like I will be lazy all day long. So, unless I have thought about in my time of motivation, setting up that process that, okay, I'm motivated now. What can I do to continue this when I'm feeling my worst? And I will still go and plug and play and continue getting my goal.
Exactly.
There's comfort in system too. I mean, think about how often we lean into like the comfort of our habits. So I think sometimes when people hear like, oh my God, build a system, I have to build out SOPs, I have to do whatever. Yeah, like it takes a little work up front, but when you sit down to an organized space and you know what you have to do in the day, that alone is enough to show up. Like that will allow you to keep showing up because it's really easy to let overwhelm win, especially for people who are navigating, like you said, the anxiety around deadlines, or if you get in your email first thing and you're navigating client anxiety, if I need this right now. And it's like, it'd be really easy for your body to want to protect you and just say no.
Yes.
And so having the built-in, I think, safety net and comfort of systems is, for me, the game changer in the maintaining the motivation into the discipline.
Right. And then from our bestie, Chat GPT, because I put it in there, discipline versus motivation. What is it really? And it spit out that motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going, but purpose decides if you finish or not. And that motivation is the feeling, it's temporary, like Jen says, it's emotional because you're hyped. And the discipline, that's where the systems comes in, as Jen said, the structure, the habit, the decisions that you make, and then purpose,
One.
which this is what most people skip, is the purpose. Why are you doing this? Who are you doing this for? What happens if you quit?
Yeah.
We always think of, so like back when you said, like, you don't have to be the frontline firefighter. Um, I don't know if you've heard of like Stephen R. Covey's like 4 quadrants, and like quadrant 1 is fires. And I always love the quote, like, an emergency on your part doesn't, I can't remember
Yes.
the exact quote.
Yeah.
That lack of planning on
Cause an
your part does
emergency
not
on,
constitute an
yes, doesn't
emergency on
cause an
mine.
emergency on mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he talks about living in like quadrant 2, because quadrant 1 is those email fires, those things that like everybody needs it from you right now, and you just don't have enough energy or space to do all the things everybody needs you to do. And so like quadrant 2 is the important but not urgent stuff. And that if you live in that quadrant 2 of getting things done before they become fire or taking care of all of the tasks, in that list of what you're doing and creating your task list and prioritizing it. I always think of like the motivation is the fire, right? It's the thing that gets us started, but the motivation eventually burns out. So it's the discipline and the processes and the structures that keep us going, even during tax week, right? When everybody is panicked and
Yeah.
coming at you. And I almost turned my phone off the other day because I was like, I can't take another phone call.
Yeah. You reach a limit. You literally you're like, nope, turn it off. I'm not gonna do it. Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, so just thinking about that, like, and my favorite quote that keeps me motivated, that keeps me going, is a Tanzanian quote. It's little by little, a little becomes. And so I have to remind myself I don't have to do big things all the time. Like, I can take these little steps all along the way, and they'll eventually lead up to big things.
You sounded a little far away there, so I want to rephrase what I heard you say, which was I think little by little, a little becomes a lot. Is that what you said?
Yep, little by little, a little becomes big.
So true.
Do you guys remember a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff?
I have
Vaguely.
not
It's a
read a
long
book called
time
Don't Sweat the
ago.
Small Stuff, but it's a very, very common phrase. So I'm trying to decide in my mind if the book is familiar or I just know the phrase.
And that's what made me think about that book when Heather just said what she said about little by little it becomes big, a lot. Yes. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Well, and that's, I think, the thing with our brains and our motivation and creating the discipline of habits is if we aren't intentional about the habits and the discipline that we want to create, life will create it for us.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times that isn't what we want, and we can become more derailed with it. So it's really not about changing your whole life tomorrow, today. Like, if you create those small processes little by little, you can incorporate them within your daily life. And so, from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, one of my favorite things is stacking habits.
Yeah.
So, doing something that you are already doing and then implementing either before or after that habit that you already have in place, you will then stack a different one that you want to incorporate. So, great one when I started taking supplements. Well, I already brush my teeth morning and night, and so I started taking my supplements just randomly. I had them in the kitchen at first, and then I realized, okay, I'm doing my teeth brushing at the same time. So when I brush my teeth, it's the time to take my supplements just right after. So that was a great habit that I was able, and discipline now that I've created for myself, because I want to have a healthier body, and I can just, life gets in the way. So it becomes difficult actually when I go like on trips and stuff, because I'm not exactly in my same space. So it gets a little trickier, but just creating the systems around you to ease it.
So that's actually a perfect transition into like challenging our listeners, because the challenge for this week is really to encourage people to see one area where they've been relying on motivation and how can you replace it with a simple, repeatable action, right? That's a habit. So something small, something realistic, like that supplement example was so perfect. And something that you can follow through on your worst day. Like, even if you're having a trash day, you're going to brush your teeth. It's still going to happen. And so, or in terms of
We hope
whatever
so.
habits are, we hope so. We aim to.
Right.
But, and so for me, it might be opening our practice management tool and picking a client that I find easy to work with. Like,
Oh, girl.
just to
Yep.
get started, right?
Yes.
Because then once you're in it and you're going, your wheels start turning, you start cooking, you start getting some forward momentum. I have a quote that I wrote down on my desk, I keep my little check-in guide always present. And at the top, it just is a reminder that consistency unfolds with or without intention. So habit building is really setting intention. That's what you're doing. You're being mindful about what it is that you want to, where you want to spend your time, because you're going to be consistent in whatever you do, regardless of whether or not you hold intention. So
True that.
that would be my challenge for everyone, I guess, to just, yeah, pick an area that you've been relying on motivation, like, I'll get to it when I think about it, and replace it with a simple, repeatable action.
That's a good one.
Well, and so we can add that to each of our growth edges. So how are you guys going to incorporate that into your week? Or your different growth edge if you're already like, no, I'm a habit master. I thrive.
No, well, there's always more habits to be created and trying to just constantly be better than we were the day before. I think it's just falling back to the systems that we know work, actually intentionally writing down, really just like taking space. I've heard a lot, and I haven't tried this one, is taking Sundays. Like Sundays are really good reset days for your entire week, but deciding on a bunch of things. So deciding on what you wear for your certain events so that when Thursday comes, you're not making that decision, that it's already like made for you. Sitting down, looking at the full entire calendar, deciding what obligations you have to do, and then making sure that you're putting in your own stuff also. And I guess the biggest thing is staying true to that. You said that you were going to go to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning. Respect yourself to make that habit, because if you have someone else that is there to help, show up, we're constantly going to show up for other people, but taking
Right.
that moment to show up for ourselves sometimes is a lot harder. So I think for me this week, I'm going to try the Sunday reset and fully go through my week. I'm pretty good about like at the end of the evening, like, well, not pretty good, hit or miss. Lately, my motivation has won, and there's really lack of motivation. So I have not set up my systems, but starting with Sunday and trying to see if that maybe fits a little bit better than every evening, thinking about what's the next day. Planning it a little bit ahead. Sometimes I'm like just flying by the seat of my pants, which is fine. But I think that if I can plan like a week or 2 weeks, maybe a month in advance, that might be more to my benefit.
I actually do look at my week on
Okay.
Sunday
Nice.
That's
evenings
awesome.
to see what I need to do. But then I also look at it in the morning as well, just for that day to see,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because my memory sometimes I forget.
But
Yes.
you all
So
have to be, yeah.
I look at it for the week on Sundays, and then each morning I look at it before I do anything else, just to make sure I show up where I need to show up.
Yeah. And do you find like, sorry, do you write it down? Because I find if I write it down, even if it's in, like I've entered it into my calendar on my phone, physically writing it down has just something way different with keeping what I have intentions for than just like looking at it.
Mm-hmm. I have it in my phone. I also have it a calendar on my computer, and then I also
Heck yeah.
have a regular calendar, desktop calendar, monthly calendar that I actually write things down, like tasks down for
Love it.
the week and just cross it off. I need to cross off stuff.
Yes.
You're physically
Yeah.
interacting with it. It does
Yeah.
change it. It
Yes.
makes it real. It makes it physical. It adds movement to the intention,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which brings a different level of commitment. I think that there's value in that. And that I want to specify that that's totally different than running your life on sticky notes and chaos. That is not
Yes.
the same thing,
I do
right? And
that
so
too.
just That's right, because it's really easy for people to be like, I don't know, I have a list here, I have a list there, I have a no, absolutely not. Get your tools in order, dial in your practice management tool, have structure, and it's still also totally okay to physically write down the things that are important to you. Like the piece of paper that I hold at my desk is because that written piece is that engagement, that commitment, that physical interaction. So Jen, I do that too for certain things.
Mhm.
I want all of my repeatable, actionable steps to be digital
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes written too.
Mhm.
I use my digital for like my time blocking, but then I
Yeah.
have my actual like task list of what do I need to do. And I actually resorted to, I'm at a weekly, I'm considering a daily task list. But like I
Mm.
just write down all the things I need to do. And when there's something new, it either is a star, like if it's one of those, it's more important than everything else on my list, then it goes in and, there's a difference for it. And if not, then it just automatically becomes that next thing on my task list to do. And so
Yep.
I'm very paper, I have to write
I
it
love
down
it.
or it doesn't get done.
Mhm.
I do when you're talking about that though, Heather, it makes me think about another piece that I like that you mentioned, Jen, and I think is worth bringing to the forefront, and it's about respect. So respecting yourself by holding yourself to the discipline, respecting your practice,
Yes.
respecting your other clients, right? It's so easy if you have a very squeaky wheel to try and
Mm-hmm.
fix that right away and to shift priorities all the time. And I think, Heather, by having those written out or by writing them or whatever, it allows you to maintain that level of respect for yourself and for your clients. You can see it. So when you get something, you can really reprioritize, no, this does not take priority. I will get it to you tomorrow or next week. And just, I think that shifting the headspace from move, 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 go, 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 how much can I get done to respect is a game changer for me because it does change how I approach my work more intentionally and with awareness of boundaries and with clarity and task out of respect for me because a better me helps the client in a better way. Just another thought there.
Mhm.
Heather, what's your growth edge this week?
Thinking about it while I've been listening to all you guys talk, because there's so many things that I could do this week. I really think like my whole focus has been foundations and boundaries. And I love what you said, Sarah, that little quote you said on the wall, the sky before, I can't remember it now, but
Sky before
basically sky
screen,
before screen.
water before
And
caffeine.
yeah, I'm not a big caffeine drinker, so I've got that one
You're like,
down.
I get that.
I've got it, yeah. But I do, like I forget to go outside. I sit in front of my screen and I work, and so I think that's gonna be my week of like making sure that I get outside. We walk our kids to the school bus every morning, and there are some
Yeah.
nights, I work till midnight, and I'm like, I can't, not today. So
Yeah.
just like pushing myself to be maybe a hard deadline at night, so I'm not working into the night. And we're in school too, so that becomes the quiet time of doing school. So just giving myself a hard deadline so that I can get them done and spend some time outside and remember to
There's
take
some
care of myself.
Yeah, there's sometimes when I'm like on my screen for the whole day and then all of it, it's like 5 and I'm now headed to the gym and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a whole entire world out here. What's going on?
What?
And it feels like so different. So yes, getting out into the sky is so important. It's
Yeah.
energy changing.
It also removes the urgency. You recognize
Yes.
that the world is so much bigger than our task
Yes.
list. Like, take a pause, go outside. It's not the end of the world.
It
Your
is.
task list is still there waiting for you when you come back. It's not going to go
Yes.
away.
Yeah.
And now that the weather here in Michigan is changing, and like last week was warm, this week was pretty warm. I'm now able to go outside and do more and, walk
Yes.
outside.
Yes.
And yes, and it's a game changer just to have fresh air.
Yes.
That's the recurring theme, I will say, is when we're discussing discipline versus motivation. Motivation is excitement, but the discipline, what it's all coming back to is yes, habits, but physically respecting your body.
Mm-hmm.
Because burnout is, I mean, if you think about motivation as a spark or a flame, burnout is an apt response of like if you try to
Hmm.
just go a million miles an hour, it's not going to happen. So making sure that you're getting outside, getting fresh air, going to the gym, setting your intentions, holding your boundaries. I mean, that's really the difference to me about what establishes healthy consistency
Yeah.
is body first, mind first, soul first, task later.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Any other growth edges for the week?
I am gonna, speaking of discipline, I am actually I've been working on it this week a little bit, more meditation.
Yes,
More
love that.
meditation. So it's probably going to take a while because, like I said, in our first podcast, my mind is constantly going, constantly. I have
Mm-hmm.
too many different things just going on. So yeah, it's horrible. It's constantly going. So this
To
week I
pause, to
decided,
slow down.
yes, I need to slow my mind down and concentrate on one thing at a time.
I think it's about establishing awareness of what's really important. Because if we're giving equal weight to all of the 8 million things that we have in our mind all at the same time,
You
it's
get nothing done.
nothing will happen.
Yeah.
And our mind is an incredible tool. Like it's working hard for us. It's like, what about this? What about this? What about this? Like it's an incredible tool and not meant to be everything, right? Like it still has to be guided. And so I love that idea because it does allow you to really establish a sense of priority.
Mhm.
I'm super keen on just gentle connection with my thoughts of when they come in, like, okay, thank you. I trust that my body will bring that back to me when I need it. And I'm going to ask it to step away for now because it's so easy to otherwise just drown in that. And
Yeah.
to, I don't know, at least for me, acknowledging, like, thanks, mind. I appreciate you bringing it to light. Hang tight. I'll get there. Sort of like you do with your inbox. I don't know. It's a helpful step for me, but I love that you're going to be focused on that. I'm excited to hear what you unlock, what you enjoy, if it's helpful. That'd be nice.
Me too. I'm really going to put the effort in this time.
I love that. My growth edge is to do more of the same. I've been working really hard. I have, again, my little checklist, and I think that I'm hitting that consistency discipline piece. And so, honoring that is my goal. I think allowing deeper roots to form and to actually grow in that. So I have 8 items that I have to do, not have to, that I get to do every day on my little
That's a good
consistency
change.
checklist. Yes, that I get to do. And then I even have a little permission reminder that I can weave a million other things into the day, but stay consistent with those 8 things, and I'll continue to move toward my purpose. And so none of them are particularly, it's not 8-hour long activities, right? And so that's my goal, is to allow that little bit of growth that's unfolding and to maintain that discipline in a really kind and gentle way.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, ladies, for spending time with us in the accountability room and anybody who joined online. And I guess if this conversation resonated with anybody who listened to it, share it with somebody who needs a reminder that motivation comes and goes, but steady discipline is what carries you forward. And then just a gentle reminder that as you go into next week, you don't have to feel ready. You don't have to be at a space of perfection,
My gosh,
just
so
have
true.
to show up. Just one step forward, one little habit at a time. So be well.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye.